Welcome to the second edition of the Idol Threat Wrestling Podcast. Your host Joey Idol here. This is kind of a special episode. I'm not going to do 2 a week, but I figure I have some really big news and we got a super huge show coming up for you. The next 2 episodes after this one are just going to be, I'll tell you about that later. First, I'm just going to kick it off like we always do with Today in Wrestling History. And today in wrestling history, in 1998, Rob Van Dam and Sabu became the ECW Tag Team Champions after defeating Lance Storm and Chris Candido. It's a huge week, huge weekend I should say for wrestling. We got the Crockett Cup, first time in 31 years, same age as me, 31. You know, never got to see a live Crockett Cup. I was just watching the original one earlier, so I'm really excited for that. I was 1 month old when the last one happened, so that's you know, that's really huge. I'm really excited to see Rock and Roll Express. They were in the first one, and here they are again. You know, they legends, the Rock and Roll Express. It's really cool that they're still part of the NWA legacy, and they're taking on the Briscoes. Which, you know, the Briscoes are one of the best tag teams in the last 20 or so years. Those guys are just phenomenal to watch. Really, I'm looking forward to that match. I'm looking forward to see PCO take on Billion Enterprise, but Brody King, PCO are taking on Nagata and Kojima in a match. That should be an interesting bunch of other matches on that tournament. There's a Battle Royal for open seat wild card match in the Crockett Cup tournament. But not just the Crockett Cup happening. You got, you know, Nick Aldis defending the World NWA Championship against none other than Marty Scurll. That should be a, you know, that should be a great match too. And vacant title because Jazz had dropped off. I'm not exactly sure why Jazz has dropped off the card, but she's not on it. So the vacant title between Allison Kay and Santana Garrett. This should be you know, that should be a great match too, as well as Willie Mack and Cole Cabana going out for the NWA National Championship. So a lot of good stuff happening this weekend. I want to say the big news I have for you guys is Rebellion Impact Wrestling. It's going to take place in Toronto, and I'm fortunate enough I'm going up to see the thing. I'm going to be working on the ring crew. Thanks to Jeffrey Scott, he invited me out. He said, come up, work the ring crew, get in, you know. So that should be great. I got a shout out to none other El Reverso, our first guest we had on the show. He will be driving me up. So me and him are, you know, road tripping. What I'm going to do is kind of document like a road trip up there. That'll be the first podcast. And then, you know, the second part will be just whatever I get into while I'm up in Toronto for that. And the Impact taping the next day too, which big news there. Rob Van Dam makes his return to Impact Wrestling. Really can't wait for that. Later on in this episode though, we got another interview as I promised every week. I'm going to try to have at least one interview for you guys. And I got Bhupinder Singh from Impact. He made his Impact debut. He's part of the Desi Hit Squad. It was really enjoyable talking to him. He has a really interesting story of how he got into Impact Wrestling. I really knew very little about him. I knew him as a person more than I knew him as a wrestler, and he was great. We had a lot of fun shooting that at my school. I should mention too, I'm officially a journalist now because I graduated from St. Clair, so shout out there. Like I said, Border City Wrestling and Can-Am, they helped me out with so many stories. So I guess I'm an official journalist now, you know. So we got that coming up for you, the interview with Bhupinder, and we're going to bring back the segment that a lot of people like. They got a lot of response to it. The Tell Me He Didn't Just Say That. Got a good one this week. Stay tuned for that. Other big news, I got Phil Atlas, Border City Wrestling Superstar. That's a Japan International Superstar. He's coming here right to the, you can call it a studio if you want, but you know, low budget, no budget. This is what we got. It's more about, like, we're building up the new set. I like it a little better. I think it looks better than last week. But it's not about that. It's about the content that we deliver. You know, Paul Heyman, I think I learned from him, he said, accentuate the positives, hide the negatives. So I ain't hiding nothing. This is it. You got me talking to you. I enjoy doing this. I'm doing it for fun because I love wrestling. Can't wait for this weekend. So excited. Like I said, Crockett Cup we got going on. We got Impact Rebellion. I watched the Impact tapings tonight, and I gotta say, because I had already seen it because I was there, I really enjoyed Scott D'Amore and Don Callis in between segments of them. They had great camaraderie together, I thought, and there was like the silliness between them too. I found them very entertaining. I thought that was a great segment, but we had some great matches. You know, we had the Lucha Bros and Johnny Impact versus Brian Cage and LAX, which is a preview to what we're gonna see this weekend at Rebellion, because we got this Full Metal Mayhem match with the Lucha Bros defending the titles against LAX. That feud, it's amazing to watch all those guys, all four of them together. They're amazing wrestlers, all of them. A big shout out to Pentagon, maybe my favorite wrestler out there today. Phoenix, phenomenal. And LAX, as always, with Conan too. Amazing. I'm a huge Lucha fan, obviously. I love Mexican wrestling. And I love seeing all those guys together. And then what else we got at that show? We got Brian Cage taking on Johnny Impact for the belt, with none other than Lance Storm. Made his return to Impact, well, his debut to Impact last week, and now he's going to be the referee for that match, so that should be awesome. Love watching Lance Storm. His work's phenomenal. Some of the best work ever. Watching him versus Rob Van Dam and Jerry Lynn, I always love those matches. Told you last week. Huge ECW guy. So, you know, and we got Scarlett Bordeaux's going to be there. So many good matches. Tessa Blanchard, Gail Kim's coming out of retirement. That's huge in Toronto, her home city. So that should be, another great match. I love Tessa Blanchard's work. Amazing. Gail Kim, one of the revolutionaries of what you've seen today in the women's movement. Not just in my opinion, it's been documented. So, that OVE, messing with Rich Swann, that's going to come, the X Division title on the line. Rich Swann against Sami Callihan. That should be a great match too. I'm really excited for this card. I told you I'm a big Impact fan. Again, this week I've watched zero WWE, so I really can't talk to you a lot about the WWE. I do know Dean Ambrose, officially now referred to as former WWE superstar. That's huge. Where's he gonna go? It'd be great to see him in Impact. I feel like he's probably gonna go to AEW, which would be great too, because that company, I got a lot of hope for it. And I mean, AAA just did a show with, the Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks, and that drew 4.5 million people watch that show, and that's huge. And that's the Bucks and the Lucha Bros will be going at it again at AEW. That's a huge match. Also now. Dean Malenko's asked for his release from WWE as a road agent, which is crazy too. That was out of nowhere. Didn't see that coming. It's, gonna be awesome to see where he goes. He'd be a great road agent in AEW, or even if he went to Impact. Great. I'd love to see him come out of retirement and have a match. I don't see that happening, but he can help out in so many ways. Dean Malenko was, one of the greats that really put WCW back in the day on the map. NWO was all about the NWO, but he was one of the workhorses of that company. You can go back and watch the matches if you've never seen any of Dean Malenko's work in WCW, or even when he was in WWE. Great wrestler. So yeah, we got, like I said, Bhupinder interview coming up. I want to keep this podcast kind of short because I got a lot of work to do and a lot of editing coming up with that two-parter. And the first episode, I'm aiming for Monday. I'm not exactly sure when we're going to get back from the Impact tapings, so you might see it as late as Tuesday. Why I'm doing this podcast, just kind of give you guys a filler. And I got the interview with Bhupinder, and he was great, and I want to get that out there for him to get him some more exposure, because he had his first Impact match 3 weeks ago, I think now, and I want to see more of him. He was great. It came down to my school again, just like our Verso. I thank all the guys at the Can-Am, nothing but good to me, and I have to thank them all the time. So we'll keep this short, and let's roll to the Bhupinder interview right now. Here today with Impact superstar and Border City wrestler Bhupinder Singh. How are you today?
Hey, thank you so much. I'm good, thank you.
So we're gonna start with where you came from originally.
Basically, I'm from Chandigarh, India, and now I'm living in city Windsor, Canada.
And what on earth brought you here to Windsor, Ontario, Canada?
Frankly speaking, firstly, I wanted to complete my study. So my studies brought me here, and after that, I get a chance to work with BCW and Impact Wrestling, which I really wanted to do that, and I'm very glad that I get a chance last year.
So, have you always been interested in wrestling, or is it something that came along later on in life?
Basically, I was into sports from very young age. I was a bodybuilder, kickboxing, boxing, and then I realized that I need something more. So, after my graduation, I realized that I should go for the wrestling because Great Khali opened his academy back in India. So that catch me my eyes. Then after my graduation, I decided to go there and to continue my wrestling career.
And how was it training under the Great Khali?
Training was pretty good. All the coaches were from like Canada. Maximum coaches are from the Canada. They used to go there for 6 months and then they train there. At my time, there was a coach. His name is Daryl Sharma. Ring name is Hornet. I'm glad that he was my coach, and he helped me a lot to reach here.
Okay, so you come to Canada, and how did you first hear about the Can-Am gym where you're training now?
Um, Can-Am is I would like to say it's the best wrestling school ever in all the world, cause people are so great. Yes, my coach Daryl Sharma helps me to meet Scott, and it's like Scott the more school. So Scott helps me to train there and to be in the Impact Wrestling.
Talk about maybe some of the differences between like training over in India and then coming here. There's a lot of difference. How was Scott compared to Great Khali School?
I was in their Khalid's Academy for like 6 months, but there's a huge difference between the Indian training and wrestling, Canadian training. In Canada, it's like more professional way,
Right.
because everyone knows about it, and back in India, it's not much famous. That time it was not famous. Now it's people know about it. But here, training methods are different. People are so nice. People are so educated in wrestling. They know how to teach. They know how to make them learn. So my coach, Johnny Bravo, Nate Manson, and my favorite guy, my friend Prince, Aiden Prince. These guys helps me a lot to learn about the wrestling, everything like training wise, psychology, wrestling psychology wise. These guys are the best. They helps me a lot.
Yeah. So talk maybe what was the wrestling scene like in India? Because in Canada we take wrestling is
Yeah.
pride in Canada. We take wrestling really serious, and so the Can-Am gym, like you said, one of the best schools.
Yeah.
It's been voted on many lists as one of the best school, right up there with all the other like Terry Funk School, Shawn Michaels School. But the scene in India wrestling wise, is it very popular over there?
In India, basically the Olympic style wrestling is more famous. But now, because of I would like to say because of CWE, the Great Khalis Academy, people get to know about more about the wrestling.
What CWE?
Yeah, its name is Continental Wrestling
Okay.
Entertainment. So, yeah, nowadays it's very famous in India. Like, it's a big market and of professional wrestling in India. People are like get to know about it, and people are crazy about it.
Do you think WWE? I don't think they always used to go to India, but with the popularity of Great Khali and everything at the time, they went over there, I believe. And do you think did that make wrestling even more popular over in India?
Basically, WWE holds some shows back in India, but they usually go there to search the Indian wrestlers. They used to go have some tryouts from the Great Khalis Academy, and they hold some their own tryouts on different cities of India. So they usually go there to search the Indian talent. And yeah, WWE know that like India is a big market and
Lots of people.
lots of
obviously.
people, and people now more like they are more into wrestling. They like to watch professional wrestling now. Everything wrestling is on TV, so WWE knows about the marketing everything. So that's why they are also planning to open their training center at in Mumbai, India, I think. But yeah, they are moving there because lots lots and lots of people are really interested in wrestling, and they even the uh, even the youngsters before they don't know like where to go for the training, because it's like there was not much academies in India, but now because of Khalis Academy, people know that from where they can start their wrestling career.
Awesome. So, uh, I met you about back. It was around October, so I stopped by the gym. I seen you wrestling there, and a lot in that time has changed. You made your Impact debut about a month ago. How was that?
It was a great experience. Like it's my dream come true. I really wanted to work for the TNA Impact Wrestling. Before it's very famous in India in the name of TNA. Now the name is changed for Impact. So people know about TNA and Impact in India too. So it's my dream to work for the Impact Wrestling. Uh, I'm very thankful to Mr. Scott. He gave me a chance, and I'm trying to give my 100% so I can work more hard and get more opportunity for Impact Wrestling.
And I watched it live. I was there, and I watched it again on Twitch. And you looked really good. And even the announcers were saying, like Don Callis was this Bhupinder guy. He's got a good look, big build, doing some good moves.
Yeah, thank you so much. There's a like small story behind it. Once I came here, I was not too big because I lose my older muscles because you know that it's a new city, new place, new country, so you can't like start everything at one time.
Right.
So I have a little bit like burden I can say of studies, my work, my wrestling training. So actually, Mr. Scott Demo, he motivates me to work hard, and he said me, Bhupinder, I want to see you back in the shape which was you back in India. So and then I started my workout, my training and everything. Um, then like every day gym, every day training, 3 days a week training. Then I became like not the best, but this much. I try to invest my time on me. I try to invest my money on me so I can look good on that big stage, because you know that Impact Wrestling is a big stage, right? So you have to look good. You have to look professional. So
Yeah, one of the top wrestling companies in North America for sure. And you're lucky enough to work under. He was originally from India, but he's a Canadian legend. Worked for Calgary Stampede Wrestling for a long time. I believe he wrestled in Puerto Rico and all around the world. But Gama Singh, how was it like having a mentor kind of figure like that on Impact?
Gama Singh, he's a very nice guy first, because I met him first time when I was training for the Impact Wrestling. He guides me a lot. He talked to me like he motivates me. He gave me an information about this whole stream because I was new in this field. So he gave me information about this field, how everything works, how you have to train, how you have to, balance your personal life and your wrestling life and everything. So even on my Impact debut, I was little bit nervous about there. So he helped me to, in my debut and in everything. Like he's in my group, they see it squad. He's
Yeah.
like, right. So he know that how to treat people, how to make them motivate so they can do good.
So, do you think it's better to start off the way they put you in the Desi Hit Squad with a few other guys that are in the Hit Squad? Are you more happy that you're working maybe with a group of guys at first to start out instead of, just by yourself? Is it better to have this kind of, you got Gama Singh as leadership, and then you got 3 other guys around you maybe to help you, give you pointers, maybe you help them, maybe you bring out the best in each other? Do you like that better that you started out that way?
Yeah, this is the best way I can start my Impact Wrestling career, because those people are from my country. I know them personally, right?
Right.
So if I have anything, if I want to do anything, want to ask anything, the questions or whatever about the wrestling psychology, wrestling moves, they always ready to help. Like my Desi Hit Squad guys, they are too good, too nice, and always ready to help.
That's awesome. So you made it to the big stage, though, finally. And what's next? What's next for Bhupinder?
For now, in my mind, I want to stay with Impact Wrestling. I want to continue my careers like 4 to 5 more years. I want to stay in the Impact Wrestling, so I can gain more experience. I can, try to, because now I know everyone in Impact Wrestling, and it's like my second family. I'm too comfortable with working with everyone here, and I think, I can I can learn more things, and I can, give my 100% in Impact Wrestling. Like here, as I told you, I'm too comfortable in the Impact stage now, so I think I can go more. I can do more hard work, and I can achieve my goals.
That's awesome. Well, you can catch Impact Wrestling every Friday night. Use more Bhupinder, the Desi Hit Squad, Scott Demore, Johnny Bravo you mentioned, Aiden Prince is there now. So you can catch that Friday nights on Twitch, the Fight Network, Pursuit, Friday at 10 o'clock, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So thanks for coming to the Idol podcast.
Thank you
And
so much for having me.
this has been Bhupinder. I'm Joey Idol. We'll see you next time. Hey, well, wait, anything else?
Yeah, I just want to say, my wrestling school guys, thank you so much everyone for helping me, my coaches, my friends, and lastly, thank you so much, Mr. Scott, for giving me a chance. I'll do my best, and thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone.
Awesome. Back to the podcast.
Alright, so that was my interview with Bhupinder Singh of the Desi Hit Squad. Thanks so much again for coming out. Always a pleasure talking to you. I look forward to seeing your career grow. I'm glad maybe we're the first interview you did. That's awesome for my show, and I hope it helps you in a way. So now let's roll to the segment. Tell me he didn't just say that.
Tell me he didn't just say that.
You know, truth be told, I'm not a very big fan of the black people. And
Tell me he didn't just say that. I know, wrestling, always you gotta draw heat. Kurt will say anything. He was amazing. He'd do anything. That's why I always loved Kurt Angle. But that was 2005. It wasn't even a long time ago. So, really? Did he really just say that? Well, this has been another episode of the Idol Threat Wrestling Podcast. And you'll be seeing from me very soon. We're gonna, be back a couple of days. We'll see you then.